channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name's Erica. Please make sure to subscribe if you aren't already. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be all about my tattoos. I've been requested to do this a couple times, so I thought I would just sit down today and film it for you guys. I'm just kind of going to be telling you guys the story behind each of my 6 tattoos that I have at the moment. I think each of them has a little story or some meaning behind it, so I think this will be somewhat interesting for you guys, I hope. I love tattoos. I think they're amazing, and I still want like 7 more. I think my number is going to be 14. Like, I don't know, I just see myself having 14 tattoos in total. I'm about halfway there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Grab a little beverage or a snack or something, and let's just get right into it. Alright, so my first tattoo I got back in December 2016. It was 2 weeks before I turned 20 because I had always told myself that I would get a tattoo before I turned 20, so I literally did it 2 weeks before. I got a lotus flower on my ankle. I found this really dope artist through one of my friends who had been to this guy before, and it was in Los Feliz in Los Angeles. And I loved the guy. He was great. He had such a steady hand. It was such a pleasant experience for my first tattoo. I also knew I wanted it to be small, and all my tattoos are pretty small actually. You'll kind of see that. It's about the size of a quarter. It took about 10 to 15 minutes, but the reason that I wanted a lotus flower is because I've always been super fond of this quote that I found. I don't even know where I found it, but the quote is, "As the lotus rises on its stalk, unsoiled by mud and water, so the wise one speaks of peace and is unstained by the opinions of the world." I love that quote so much. It is from the Buddha, I believe. Ever since I first heard it, it just stood out to me, and I was like, I know that I want a lotus flower as my first tattoo. That's literally exactly what I got, and I love it. I think it still looks super good. I got it in that placement because obviously when you sit like crisscross and like in meditation and yoga, you know, I always see it and it always reminds me of that quote. It means a lot to me, but that's why I got a lotus as my first tattoo. So my second tattoo I got about 2 weeks later in January on Friday the 13th, and a lot of different tattoo shops on Friday the 13th will have flash sheets of a bunch of little tattoos that you can get for, I think it's $13, but that ends up being $20 if you give them like a tip. So it's like a $20 tattoo basically. So I went to this place on Melrose called Through Your Skin Tattoo. I got my little crescent moon that I have on my wrist. This was one of the things on the line sheet, but I've always loved the moon and felt a really deep connection to it, as I feel like we all should. And I also always loved this placement, like on the side of the wrist. So that is why I got it right there. It is really small. It is probably the size of a dime, and I think it maybe took like 5 to 10 minutes. Fun fact, I waited 4 hours for this thing. 4 hours. I remember getting to the tattoo shop around like 8 p.m. We did not leave until like 1:30 a.m. It's probably because there was a really long line of people. I think we were like 50th in line. It took a really long time, that's all I remember, but I knew it was Friday the 13th and it was kind of inevitable, but I'm really happy with it regardless. My next tattoo I actually got on a different Friday the 13th at the same tattoo shop by the same person who did my moon. This one was also on the line sheet, but before it was even on the line sheet, like I knew it was something I wanted. It is a mountain turning into a wave. I got this tattoo when I was living in LA, and I got it for my hometown because my hometown is both mountains and ocean. It's kind of in between the two. I don't know, I just always knew that I wanted that just to remind me of home. But also it's like California in general because we have mountains and then we have ocean, and it's just like the best of both worlds. So I wanted that tattoo on my side. I always knew I wanted a side tattoo as well. I thought that one would look nice placed there. That one also took about 15 minutes, I would say. I just realized that I forgot to rate everything on like a pain scale, so I'll do that really quick. My lotus tattoo, I want to say was like a 4 or 5. Didn't really hurt that bad. I think it was just kind of a shock because it was my first tattoo, but it honestly was not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. My wrist tattoo was maybe like a 5 or 6. Still not that bad. I was also super tired when I got it done, so I don't remember much. Maybe it was like a 3, honestly. And then the tattoo on my side, I would rate probably like a 6. Moving on to my fourth tattoo. My fourth tattoo is actually the number 4. and it's on my wrist right here. I like to say that I have 4 reasons for it. The first reason is that 4 is my life path number. If you're familiar with numerology, there's different life path numbers, and I happen to be a 4, which is also the same life path as Oprah Winfrey. Pretty damn cool. The other reason is I got it to remind myself of my favorite book, which is The 4 Agreements. I'm sure many of you guys have heard me talk about that before. Third reason is because I come from a family of 4. It's me, my mom, my dad, and my brother. And the last reason is because 4 is an angel number, and I always see 444 everywhere, and it just reminds me that I'm being guided by angels. I got this one done in a little tattoo shop in New York, and the crazy thing is that when I was getting it done, the guy who's tattooing me had said that the girl who had come in before me had just gotten 3 4s tattooed on her, so 444. He was telling me that she got this tattoo because she kept seeing 444 everywhere, and then the total for the tattoo ended up being 5444. So crazy. I was like, okay, wait, I see 444 all the time too, like that's crazy. And my total ended up being the same thing because it was essentially like a $50 tattoo, but then plus tax, 5444. So weird, crazy, amazing. I was like meant to get that tattoo that day at that place. Moving on to my next tattoo. My next tattoo is on the back of my neck. I got this tattoo with my cousin, who is more like a sister to me, but we got it for a few different reasons. The main one is for our grandma. So the tattoo is a little dove carrying a flower. My grandma always had doves growing up, so doves just kind of like symbolize her. And then I later come to find out that doves are like my spirit animals, like spirit guides, and I was like, whoa, okay, crazy. But yeah, so doves just remind us of our grandma, and our grandma's name is like flower in Spanish, so that's why we got the flower. I really like it. I also love doves because they symbolize peace and connecting to your highest self. Finally, my last tattoo probably has to be my favorite out of all of them, and it's my most recent one, and it is on my left arm, right above my elbow. I have talked about it a little bit on my channel before, the meaning behind it, but if you haven't seen that video, I'll explain it again. I have the words "be love" on my arm because I think those 2 words are literally the key to living the most fulfilling, beautiful life ever if you just embody love itself. Yeah, these 2 words are like the foundation to my life. Not only that, but I do write poetry, and so I have an Instagram account called belovepoetry. If you guys want to go follow it, that would be amazing. It is the most beautiful daily reminder to have permanently on my skin for life. I got this one and my dove done by the same local artist here where I live in Sonoma County. He's really dope, super affordable, and did a really good job on both of my tattoos. I'll probably be going back to him sometime soon. Both of these tattoos were around 50 bucks, so super affordable, and they both took around 20 minutes. Pain scale for the 4, I forgot to mention, this one was maybe a 4. In pain too, maybe a 3. It really did not hurt, and it took like 5 minutes. My dove actually did hurt a little bit. It was probably a 7 on the pain scale. This one by far, my Be Love tattoo, was the worst pain, which is weird. I honestly didn't think it would hurt in this placement. It was like an 8 or a 9 at times, but it wasn't unbearable. It was just like, I actually felt it for sure. This one and the dove were probably my most painful ones, but still manageable. Those are all the tattoos I have at the moment, all 6 of them. Like I said, I plan on getting more, so maybe I'll do a part 2 on this video in the future. If you have any other questions, leave them in a comment below. I hope you enjoyed this. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.